Hello Redditors, welcome back to Tales Against Humanity. Now, let's get started. In today's episode,
I agree with your diagnosis. Hello folks. Another one from the Backwoods Tech. This tale is from about 3 years ago. It was a few days after the call from the gentleman whose laptop was stolen and used as a weapon. It had been a pretty slow day. Most of the workforce had ducked out early. It was a financial holiday. I work in financial IT, but I was sticking around because I liked the OT cash. I answered the phone for the second time in about 6 hours, after a rousing round of indoor soccer with the other 3 who were in building. User, I hate calling on a day off, but I needed to check an email I promised for a client, and something is wrong with my computer. The screen is all F*******Y. Is she making a Trailer Park Boys reference? I thought to myself, I apologize. I must have had a burst of static on the line. I didn't hear the last thing you said. User, the screen is F*******Y. Me. Okay. Can you explain what you mean by that? What is going on? User, there are sparkles and halos and the screen looks like it is on drugs. Me. Let's get me remoted on and see if I see what you are seeing. If I don't, I'll ask you for a picture from your phone so I can attach to the ticket. At this point, I get remoted on, while thinking to myself, is this user high? However, I was also convinced I wasn't going to see anything, as the remote software just shows me what software sees, not what the hardware is outputting. 99.9% of the time, software output is fine, and the issue is always the hardware. So up comes the screen on my remote connectioing. Me. I agree with your diagnosis. The screen is F*******Y. The user was not wrong. What I saw was the most bizarre thing I've seen on a remote session. The screen had halos appearing and disappearing, touch screen sensor location going crazy. I saw pixels changing color randomly, and lines drawing up and down the screen. Whatever was going on, it was not just hardware-based. That driver software was also beyond screwy. User. So I'm not crazy. Me. No. I'll see what I can do with software/drivers. But if that doesn't work, the regular IT staff are not until tomorrow. A possible fix may have to wait till then. User, that's fine. I just wanted confirmation I wasn't crazy. If you can fix it, great. If not, I'll tell my client my PC went to Mardi Gras. This user was awesome to speak to. Lots of jokes, she was very calm and cool about everything, extremely apologetic about calling in on a holiday, and in general, one of the most pleasant experiences I've ever had. Story 2. I didn't tell you that you could close my ticket. I work in account provisioning for a medical setting. I understand that some users are not very tech-savvy, so I spend lots of time using Text Expander to give information as detailed as possible and to ensure I leave nothing to guesswork. We have a rule of 3 contacts with no response, then we close the ticket. I contacted this user 3 times with a question about that request and no answer. So it got closed out. I then get a very snotty email stating, among other things, I didn't tell you that you could close my ticket, and you never contacted me like the resolution states. The user then proceeds to answer my question I emailed to her, proving that she did indeed get the emails. I ask if she followed the instructions I gave her in the first set of emails on how to map a drive she requested access to. In the emails, I gave her a snippet from Text Expander explaining everything as if they were in 2nd grade. Example, click on File Explorer, the icon looks like a manila folder. She then writes back, I don't know about all this tech garbage, so why don't you do your job and help me? Normally, if a user is struggling, I will reach out and assist even though our SOP is to transfer tickets back to the service desk so they can help the user instead of our tiny team of 5 getting tied up. Well, this lady didn't get my help. Do my job. All right, I'll do it to the letter of the law then. Now she gets to wait 2 days for the service desk to get around to her ticket. Meanwhile, she has been emailing me complaining. Well, lady, don't bite the hand that manages your access to technology. Now wait and suffer by the hands of SOP. Story 3. Data recovery this weekend? Why didn't the backup work? So my local, very small, 3 people, water district called on Friday all in a frizz. The QuickBooks 2012 Pro Edition, so you can see how this is going. Fucked up and they lost like 3 months of data or whatnot. I'm like, well, you can use the backup and get those files back at least from a day or so ago. I go through how to look for it, but they are like, there are no backups. So I go on there and check it out. They have backup drives set at midnight, but there are no backups at all. So turns out at the end of the day, they shut all the computers down around 5-6 o'clock, like all of them. So the last backup is from 2020. I'm like, on top of that, QuickBook won't read any backups with an error. So I grabbed the box and ended up using some utilities to transfer the latest transactions into an older non-corrupt file, but it was cracking me up. So the lady working was pretty happy only having to do 2-3 days of transactions, rather than who knows how many. I'm like, leave your computers on overnight, at least one a week, and the backup problem will be solved. Story 4. People can't read or decipher pictures. I browse this sub occasionally and dear Lord, I couldn't do it. Here is my accidental tech support tale. I was working the holiday season at Congo, a well-known international home delivery conglomerate, at one of their package sorting facilities. All of the line workers, myself included, had to use those inventory scanners that look like cell phones with IR readers on top. They were all for the same tasks, but had been purchased and set up in 2 batches. Same brand, just one older and one newer model. They were all also supposed to be able to scan either using the built-in or Bluetooth connecting to scanners you could put on your fingers. At the start of every shift, all of us line workers would storm the cage the scanners were kept in and find a phone scanner combo that worked. It took forever, with people switching out batteries, messing with settings. It got to where once I got a setup I liked, I just hit it when I clocked out. They had some bullshit kind of desk position open that paid a little more. I applied and got it, just to find out that there was very little actual work to do. On the floor, I had been one of their top guys. I like to stay busy at work to pass the time. So I started going through all of the broken phones. Turns out the new and old models had different settings in order to work with the finger scanners, and since people were always fiddling with them, they would break. I eventually, through pure trial and error, figured out the perfect settings for each model and went through them all, putting things right. So eventually the only broken phones were the ones with legit issues. Great. We had gone from 40 broken phones to like 8. I did it. Until the next day when people grabbed phones and changed them to their favorite settings. And then when it stopped working, they'd find me because I'd figured it out. 20 people a shift needing help. I like to stay busy, but I don't like people enough or get paid enough to do that. So I made a 4-page document, 2 for each model, of each step to getting the settings right, with screenshots of each step with the important bits underlined in red, and take them to the tech cage. I demonstrated to the manager that my setup was demonstrably the best option besides locking people out of settings, but good luck waiting on that. As I'm sure you're sure, nothing happened. I spent days fixing phones for all of these people who refused to read until the temporary spot ended, and I gladly went back to shuffling packages around the building.